About a year ago this time, we did a story in an Asheville area lawmaker that brings his camper and camps in Raleigh during session. Not long after that, another lawmaker messaged me and said, you know, you really should follow one of us around in our district one day to see what it's like and how challenging and diverse it can be. So a few months later, we took him up on that offer. Our day begins before the sun rises, heading west to Orange County. As the sun peeks through the trees, we arrive at State Representative Greg Meyer's house, just in time to hit the road again.
This is my favorite part of the job. Anybody who prefers being at the General Assembly to being in your district is crazy.
We're making 5 stops, crisscrossing the 2 counties in his district.
You put on a lot of miles on this car?
So this car's about to hit 200,000 miles, and I bought this car when I got into the legislature.
We're going to add many more miles today. Meyer represents Orange and Caswell counties. Inside the district, the backgrounds, needs, and wants vary wildly, as you will see today. Caswell County is extremely rural and majority Republican. Orange is highly educated and extremely liberal.
So what is this first stop we're going to?
So we're going up to Hillsboro, and we're going to go to WHUP, which is a micro broadcasting radio station. They have a small antenna that maybe goes 3 miles in any direction, so really just broadcast to the town of Hillsboro, and then they broadcast online.
So I'll be on in just a second.
Welcome inside the studios of WHUP.
And a load tonight of only 45.
And 3D News with Mr. B.
Let's talk first with Representative Meyer because the legislative session is out.
It's a freewheeling, often unpredictable hour.
Let's talk about the Leandro case. All you got to do is go to Nextdoor if you want lots of misinformation about COVID and everything else. This is another baffling issue when thousands of people are without health insurance, not covered by Medicaid.
Mr. B's dialed up perhaps as much anger with Republicans as his Democratic representative.
And this is obviously in the interest of the long-term plan to starve public education and replace it.
Well, I've certainly never seen anybody work so hard to keep kids from getting an education. What's happening, Madam Mayor?
After a quick chat and sip of Joe across the street, we walk around the corner to Radius Pizza. We're meeting owner Kate Carroll. Meyer's checking in on small business concerns.
We were doing this prior to COVID, but this has really saved our biscuits.
Carroll dishes up her concerns of the times, labor and supply chain issues, and yes, fear.
I've also had some really sad and in times frightening interactions with customers over us asking them to put on a mask, which, by the way, you know, is mandated by the county, which I agree with. I'm not saying that I don't, but I don't know why they are reserving their anger for us.
After a quick drive, we next arrive in a classroom at Orange High School.
So my name's Greg Meyer. I'm state representative for Orange County and Caswell County. Who wants to talk about the protest?
Do not be afraid of America!
In September, the far-right group Proud Boys protested the district's COVID-19 policies outside a football game.
Please ask folks to stop speaking and interrupting the meeting.
In October, after weeks of talk about mask mandates, critical race theory, and discrimination, it came to a head at a heated school board meeting.
Critical race theory and
no, sir, I'm sorry, you can't speak on that tonight. You're welcome to stay with us.
Well, give me an agenda item I can speak on.
Sir,
Thank you for exposing your communist ways, just like BLM.
Mr. Wicker, you need to leave the meeting. Thank you.
The school board passed a resolution aimed right at the Proud Boys.
And therefore be it resolved that the Orange County Schools Board of Education stands united against all forms of white nationalism and white supremacy.
Meyer wanted to talk with the students to hear their perspective.
Tell me what you know, and then your colleagues who don't know can learn about it too. Like I've heard one version of it. What did you learn about it from students, as students?
After 30 seconds of silence, the students slowly opened up. Meyer was first elected in 2012. Education and racial equity shape a big part of his legislative, career, and personal life, much of it rooted in his decision to adopt.
But then raising a black daughter also gave me the lens of you know, what were her experiences in school, and they were very different than mine. And you know, trying to help her navigate meant that I came face to face with some systemic barriers as a parent.
On a 45-minute drive to the northern part of his district, we chat about life as a lawmaker.
One of the hard parts of politics is that a lot of what you have to do comes at the same time as family times. Like, political events tend to be on evenings and weekends. You got to go to community meetings. They're on evenings and weekends. At the same time, you want to be doing stuff with your family. And sometimes you can include your family, but a lot of times you can't. And then there's also the legislative element where I don't really have full control of my own schedule. So I can't always be an attentive parent or a good partner. And that takes a toll on the entire family.
All of this for roughly $14,000 a year plus per diem. It's supposed to be part-time, but with longer sessions and days like today, you might as well call it full-time.
One of the reasons why people say we shouldn't have a full-time legislature is that we just don't need that much legislation. I think that we probably would be better off with full-time professional legislators, because the job isn't just being in Raleigh. And if we could have a little bit longer legislative session, but also acknowledge that you're still at work when you're both in your district, you're back in your district, both things are part of the job. How many acres?
Right now it's 150 acres in here that is joining all of us together.
As the 45-minute drive to Caswell County ends, we arrive at Kent Williamson's farm.
This is something that was left or purchased by my grandfather in '49. Oh, wow. So he left it to my dad, and my dad had left it to me. And so I'm trying to keep it going.
Small rural farms paint the landscape here, but stores often want to buy in bulk and look to huge, often corporate farms.
When you guys formed, it was all black farmers, right?
When we formed, it was.
But now it's not?
No, it's not.
With government help, local farmers linked up to piece together a solution.
How much has this co-op made a difference for y'all then? It's almost like you're banding together to help.
We have banded together. It has helped us develop a co-op as to sell. When we went to sell eggs at Weaver Street, what Weaver Street told us that we would deal with one person and we would deal with your group. So anybody came down as an individual, they wouldn't work with them because they didn't want tens of thousands of individual farmers coming in. All right, thank y'all.
See ya.
It's getting late in the day and we have one more stop.
So where are we headed next?
So we're going to go down to the Anderson community, which is a historically black community that has an asphalt plant going in, and they've been trying to fight an environmental justice fight for the last couple years. We thought we'd made some progress, and we got some bad news recently. We rolled in and I was just like, holy cow, they've cut down everything. I mean, they moved quickly once they got the ability to do it.
Reverend Schaffner has called this home since 1986. He and neighbors fear water pollution from the future plant.
This is a community where people don't have the money to up and move.
Right, and that's one of the biggest things is the community. When this fight first started, that was one of the biggest things they come to the table and say, hey, where are we gonna go? You know, they just can't get up and go. You know, not all of them have the resources to be able to do that.
One district, 2 counties, and a wide range of issues to face. Restaurants, schools, farmers, and environmental concerns, all in a day's work.
Home again, home again.
But even back at home now at day's end, Myers Day is still far from over.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I have 100 emails to look at. Got at least one kid going to soccer practice. I'll probably be on the phone tonight calling some donors for the next campaign. Probably have to debrief with my campaign manager, maybe put up a social media post. There's certainly more to do.
It never stops.
It never stops.
By the way, Representative Meyer is now running for the state Senate in 2022, so he will add Person County onto Orange and Caswell counties.